This is Ready, Set, Reiki, a podcast about Reiki and all energy work, from the curious beginner to the seasoned master teacher, welcoming all systems, all lineages, and all levels. Reiki is a journey and not a destination. And on this Ready, Set, Reiki journey, I refer to myself as a guide. So I'm Tracy C. Wright, and this is Ready, Set, Reiki. Hello, beautiful friends. Welcome, Ready, Set, Reiki, Tracy C. Wright. So what a privilege it is today to have my guest here. So this is going to be very entertaining. He can see what I think no one else can really see. So it's going to be interesting to hear his beautiful journey as to how he got here today. So it is Spirit Medium Daniel. Now, he has been surrounded by spirits his entire life. The ability to communicate with spirits bloomed. And as he turned 50, now as a spirit medium, he communicates with spirits and angels, notably archangels. He can confirm spirit crossings, provide spiritual consults, guidance for those who need help with life problems. He is also able to retrieve answers for people who feel they have lost their way, not only spiritually, but emotionally. Those answers he retrieved are received from the archangels, which is ultimately the word of God. Daniel, welcome to Ready, Set, Reiki.
Thank you for having me on today, Tracy. I appreciate it. Not only can I do all that, but I'm super funny.
Super funny. Can't wait. All right. Well, let's begin this journey. So you have a book out. I had the privilege of reading it. Thank you for sending that to me. And what an amazing story, an amazing journey. And our listeners really need to go out and get that book and read it. But tell us a little bit about yourself. Give us a little bit of taste of what we're going to find out when they read that book.
My name is Daniel Jackson. I go by Spirit Medium Daniel. I don't call myself psychic, usually because when you say the word psychic, then people start asking you, hey, what am I thinking now? And I say, I don't know what you're thinking now, but everyone else thinks you're goofy for asking that question. I see dead people. I don't just see people. I see dogs, cats, horses, cows, fish, other beings from other worlds. I remote view. I don't have any control of it. It just turns on. I see into other dimensions. I don't have any control of it. It just turns on. It's like when all this came on for me when I was turning 50, it's like when you order cable and then you get extra channels. I get extra channels and things come in for me. But throughout my day, throughout my life, my entire life now, I don't ever not see spirit. So it doesn't turn off for me. It doesn't go away. So just as a question for you, what color are the walls that are around you?
Oh, so that's what you're asking me, like spiritually, or are you asking?
Oh, no, literally. What color are your walls?
Well, I think it's called Timeless Blue is the color on the paint can.
Okay, so I see that, but I also see a darker mist of blue within that. So, but I see that blue within your complexion, even in your beautiful red hair. And that mist that I see, it's in my regular vision, is the veil. It is when I concentrate on that, I start seeing everything that is around everybody. But that's not the only way I see spirit. Mm-hmm. I see them in the daylight. They walk past me. I see them all day long, but then at nighttime, I keep my bedroom completely blacked out so that I can see everything. And for me, when I see all the ones that are around me, it's like being in a room with 1,000 people, except nobody leaves and more just keep coming in.
Sure.
I see them everywhere. But again, I see them. I see everything. So not everything I see is good energies as well. I see a lot of the bad ones too. So I see everything, and they communicate with me, or spirit talk to me or around me. But that's not when I'm doing a reading for someone or getting answers. I don't communicate with them to get answers. I communicate with what we refer to as archangels, not men with wings and shields and swords by any means. They touch my face for yes and no answers. When I get a yes, it feels like blood is dripping across my eyebrow or some other part of my forehead. And then when I get a no, it feels like a tear, like a blood tear running down my eye. So, and it just happens to, just like that. It's just, and in the beginning, I was getting 2 touches, one here on this eyebrow and one here. And now at this point, it's even in the book, it was like 16. And now at this point, a couple of years later, it's 89. So I know all the names who are touching me too, and when they're touching me. Sometimes it's a couple of them at the same time.
Beautiful. Now, when
Yeah.
you go to sleep at night, do you have this in dreams as well?
Um, Sometimes they come in, but I'm in communication with them all day. It doesn't turn off for me, it doesn't go away. So even to the point, like, when I'm waking up in the morning and I have to take my medications, I'll pick up a medication bottle and I'll look at it. All I have to do is look at it, and then they touch no. I say, "Oh, okay," and I put that pill bottle, or they touch me, yes, and then I open it up and I take that pill bottle. Or even when I'm driving down the street in my on my motorcycle, and I see them in front of me, I see these little petals of white light around me all the time, uh, and I'll say, "Oh, I need to take this right-hand turn." "No." "You don't want me to take that one?" "No." "You want me to take the next right-hand turn?" "Yes." "Okay." So what's gonna happen at the other one? I don't care. They're looking out for my best interest in order for
Mhm.
me to be where I need to be in order to do what I do, which is this. So I pay attention. I always tell people what I do is what everyone else should do is listen, trust, and follow through. So, yeah, so, and I see them all day long. They're always telling me things, and now they don't just touch me for yes or no answers. They also put thought into my mind where, in the beginning, it was like maybe 5% of my day. Now it's at the point where it's 93% of my day.
Oh, wow. Wow. Yeah, that's what I
I'm
was gonna
I'm
ask
like
you
that.
because, when things come through for me, it's trying to decode it almost like charades and giving
Nothing.
kind of that
No,
language. So
no, not like that. Mine's told as is. It's
as
I
is.
sometimes I hear the voice come through, but now it's so much it's so often now, it's as though it's a shared thought, so it's my own thought. There are
Right,
sometimes I just have to I will ask them, "Hey, did you just say that?" And then I get touch yes for it, but, it's my own thought, so I don't have to sit there and wait for anything.
right.
It's right there every single time.
It's that sense of knowing because, like, I'll automatically say a response and someone's like, "How do you know?" I just know.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, I don't have to sit there and go, "Om," or anything like that, or say, "Hey, can you guys" as soon as someone's asking me a question, I get told the answer right there. Sometimes I stop them halfway through because 'cause I'm already being told. I mean, it happens like that, so
All right.
just as
So when did this being a spiritual medium come into your life? Did you find it or did it find you?
Well, it found me in a way I wouldn't, recommend for anybody, that's for sure. I've always seen spirit ever since I was the age of 3 years old. My whole family was seeing them because we lived in a town in New Jersey right on the Delaware River, so there was a little battlefield right there in our town. I had a little hospital there. So a lot of people were actually experiencing some things in that part of town. But it was by the time I was 17 years old, my parents and I moved out, from New Jersey down to Delaware, and I was the only one who was continuing to see them on a regular basis. Like I came home from a gig one time laying I was playing in a rock band, had big hair and zebra stripes spandex. I thought I looked cool, but probably not so much. But not so much today, that's for sure. And when I laid down in bed, something laid down next to me 3, 4 times, and it just every time I laid down, I felt the whole bed move and the pillow was squishing down, and I was like, "What?" And I kept looking around, and that was like that 5th time when I rolled over to see what was there, whatever was there, picked up the blanket that I had on top of me, and it brought it up to the ceiling and shook it above me and then dropped it on top of me. And then for 2 years after that, Tracy, I slept on the couch downstairs because I was scared, so,
Oh,
yeah, it was kinda crazy, and then it just progressed from that point, and I was just seeing, hearing, feeling more all the time and hearing voices and hearing things and seeing things, and it was right before I was turning 50.
mhm.
That's when it got crazy, and, at that point, I saw everything you could ever imagine in a scary movie happening in my home for
Wow.
2 weeks. My wife went away on vacation for 2
Mhm.
weeks, and I saw everything for 2 weeks. It was just,
Wow.
like 8-foot skeletons walking around my house and green and red mist pouring out of the walls and this
Mhm.
little skull floating around with, like, red eyes and fangs and stuff. All this scary stuff, but what it was just a test to see if I was going to move forward with what I had, but I didn't know what I
Sure.
had at that time. So, yeah.
Right, right. Do you think there's something about what did something particular happen at 50 that you think opened this up? Or do you just feel that, like, you were universe, whatever thought that you were ready at 50?
Yes, that they wanted me to wake up at 50 years old. I had to wake up at this particular time, but, yeah, so it was just them. Again, I was used to seeing things all the time. I mean, people would I was always told, I was sensitive.
Mhm.
Everybody hears that I'm sensitive. But I was just seeing so much at this time.
Yeah.
They were wanting to see if I was going to move forward with it, or like maybe someone else would push it away.
Mhm.
And maybe that's why they brought me so much. But
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's in my book that I talk about, but there's a
Yeah.
lot of things in my book that I didn't talk about in my book because I didn't want my book to sound like a horror story because that's how bad it was.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And in your
Yeah.
book, when I was reading, you had an incident as a child with a dog, and then you had another incident where you said you rode to work in a motorcycle and you left in an ambulance.
Yeah, yeah. When I was 10 years old, I got bit by a dog right here in the corner of my mouth, and he took a piece, and I ended up having a plastic surgery by the time I was 14. I had 100 stitches when I was in the hospital, and I had to have the rabies shots in my stomach. That wasn't pleasant. So, and then yeah, when I was working, and I was working in a frozen food place that we stored frozen food, and there was a guy behind me on a forklift, and he picked up 2 pallets of frozen chicken, and one of them it collapsed, and one of them fell on top of me. So,
Mm.
yeah, yeah, that was pretty traumatic, but,
Yeah.
I mean, we all have some, traumatic things that go on in our lives. We all have a different perspective with how we look at it, though.
Right. Right.
But it had to happen.
It did. It was one of the many steps you needed to take to get you
Yeah,
here to help
yeah.
others. So it's a journey.
Yeah, but those things that helped me there didn't help me deal with, seeing all the crazy things that were going on in my home. I mean,
Right. Right.
I mean, we actually had a paranormal group come to the house, and when the thing about it was when they showed up, they had their little van and they had little insignia on the side of it, and I just thought to myself, I don't want to be this kind of famous. I don't want to be someone living around me or next to me thinking, "Oh, we got poltergeist going on in this house next to us."
Yeah.
When they actually did, but I didn't want that perceived by people. So, but that was a little difficult. But they did so many tests at my house. One of the tests they did was they had me lay in my bedroom and pretend I was sleeping, and they came in and turned on one of those spirit boxes.
Mm.
When they did, it spoke for 10 minutes straight. I mean,
Oh, wow.
when they turned it on, it said Wendy, Michael, Paul, Helen, unique, special, light, energy. One time it said the word road, like a street. When it did that, a car went past the house, and I was like, "Whoa," And but then they started asking questions, and that's when it got crazy. And one of the questions they asked was, "Are you here to harm Daniel?" And then in that computer voice, it spoke out, said, "No, we are not here to harm Daniel. We love Daniel. We love Daniel's light. Daniel is the light." When it said Daniel is the light, I was like, "What the heck is that supposed to mean?" But it was it was just so much stuff was going on when they took pictures of me walking around the room with different members of the team or by myself.
Yeah.
Every time they took a picture of me, I had 15 or 20 light orbs completely surrounding me, so,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, but when they took a picture of somebody else, there was nothing.
Mm.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Yeah, you are the light.
Uh, I am.
Well, so you've been out doing this for quite some time, and I'm sure at this point, I like to call it the BS meter. You probably are out there and you see people who are probably not authentic and
Correct.
maybe take advantage of this. Um, and so to help people out in our world here to educate them, I always say, arm yourself with knowledge. What is some common misconceptions about spirit mediums?
Spirit mediums, we're gonna give you the super wow answer all the time, and that people are expecting. Oh, they want you to tell them what's the favorite color of their father or something
Mhm.
like that. We don't do that. That's not what we're here to do because that's ridiculous. Circus act stuff. I don't do
Yeah.
circus act stuff. You want to go see a circus act who's going to help you find your soulmate? You go talk to that guy because people don't even realize what a soulmate is. A soulmate is not absolutely someone you're going to fall in love with. It could be your mom and dad. It could be your best friend. It could be a dog or a cat. It's just another soul
Oh,
that
yeah.
you worked very well with back at home because this isn't home. Heaven is home. And we both here meet up at the same time.
Yeah.
And then they help you get through your life much easier. It's not someone you're going to fall in love with. So, I mean, but unfortunately, there's a lot of these other fake practitioners out there telling people that just so they can get money out of your pocket. So,
Yeah.
yeah, they just don't understand how it works because unfortunately, things have been ruined for us, for people like myself, by
Right.
television and movies.
Right, right. They make it like you walk into the grocery store and then they read you, do cold reads.
Um, I do that sometimes, but I
Right.
only do that when a message is brought to me. Like my wife and I were in a hospital one time. She was getting a procedure, and we're waiting, and my leg started hurting. Now, this is another thing. People don't want what I have. They think they do, but my leg
Yeah.
was hurting really bad. My left knee. I was like, "Oh my god, what's going on?" She's like, "You okay?" I'm like, "No, my leg's killing me." I mean, she's like, "Well, do you want me to get a doctor?" And then I closed my eyes. When I closed my eyes, I saw a man sitting in a wheelchair in front of
Mm.
me, but he was over by where this girl was, who checked us in, and he's bumping into her with the wheelchair. And I was like, "Oh, man." She's like, "Well," I was like, I got to go talk to the girl over there, check this in. I see a spirit there that's for her, wants to communicate with her." I said, she said, "Honey, you know how people react to this stuff." I said, "I know, but if I don't, this pain's not going to go away." So
Right.
I went over and walked over and said, "Hello." I said, "My name's Daniel Jackson." I said, "You checked us in a little while ago." I said, "Do you know what a medium is?" And she said, "I've always wanted to go to one." I said, "Well, I am one." I said, "You have a man here who is sitting with you, and he's a black gentleman. He's sitting in a wheelchair, and he's got on this blue and black flannel shirt, and he's bumping into you because he's trying to get your attention because he said he wants to apologize to you for something." And then she said to me, "What color was his shirt?" And I said, "It was blue and black." And I said, "He's in a wheelchair." And I said, "I keep getting this real bad pain in my leg, something to do with him." And she said, "That's my grandfather."
Mm.
"You said he wanted to apologize to me?" I said, "Yeah, he wants to apologize to you because he feels like he can't cross over into the light until he does that. What would be the reason for that?" And she said, "Oh, when I was a kid, he lived with my mom and I, and he always used to talk down to me. He was always very mean to me all the time, and then he passed away." And I said, "Well, I'm getting this real bad pain in my leg. What's that from? Well, did he have something wrong with him?" She said, "He had polio." And I was like,
Oh,
"Oh, man." I said, "Well, here's what I want you to do." So I told her what to do. When you go home, this is what I want you to do, the steps I want you to take, everything. And then I said, "And if," I said, "Here's my email address, and then just let me know what happened." And she's like, "Oh, okay, no problem." And then she emailed me and she let me know. And then she said she smelled roses in the house. And then I confirmed, I said, "Yeah, he crossed over at that point." And so he went home. So that's the way that it works for me. So,
okay.
my, yeah, so it's different than people think it is, but again, I try to tell people all the time that they always say to me, "Daniel, I wish I had your ability. I wish I had your
Mm.
gift." And then I tell them, once I explain some of the things that I go through every single day of my life, like
Yeah.
I say, I have to take some sleepy juice medicine just to stay asleep because they are in a place where there's no space and time. They don't ever stop talking to me because there's no
Sure.
time.
Yeah.
So I can't, when I close my eyes, I see thousands of them staring at me the whole
Mhm.
time. They're staring at my light. Try to go to sleep with that. So
Yeah.
when I explain these things to people, they quickly retract their statement about saying they
Yeah.
want this because they only want the cool part. They don't want the rest of it.
Yeah. They
So
don't realize it's the whole package.
yeah, it's difficult at best sometimes, but
I'm sure, I'm
I know
sure.
I'm meant to do this, so this is what I do.
Right, right. There's often a misconception as well that certain psychics there or mediums are asked like, well, why can't you see the things in your own life? And then many will say, well, it doesn't work like that. It's a gift. I'm human and I would have been able to prevent myself from this accident or been able to prevent myself through a divorce or so things. But are you able to see things for yourself, you said, by the
Yes.
angels, archangels touching you?
Yeah, so, every day I'm in communication with them all day long, it doesn't turn off,
Mhm.
and they tell me things, but I ask them things all day long.
Okay.
As I always tell people, I would, if they, what they told me, as long as I listen, trust, and follow through with everything that they tell me to do, I would never get into another car accident again, and I haven't in 8 years.
Wow.
I haven't
Yeah.
even had a close call, nothing. But I
Yeah.
listen to what they tell me to do. I trust what they're telling me to do is my best interest, and then I follow through with it. I don't follow through with it 6 or 7 or 8 days later. I do it right then and there. So, and that's what I try to tell people to do at the same time. You can listen to your soul, your inner compass trying to tell you.
Mhm.
People call it intuition, but it's your soul listening to guide you, but you have to learn to listen, trust, and follow through with what it's telling you to do. And it'll make life a lot easier for you, but you have to stop listening to your ego crap because that's how you learned
Yeah.
everything in this world. You learned how to have pain, anger, sorrow, grief, guilt, anguish, and all that in ego, all that other crap that you learned. So step away from that and listen to what. So I listen to everything they tell me to do. Is like I
Mhm.
said, I pick up a pill bottle. I look at it. Should I take this pill? No. Okay, I don't. I put it down. So I do everything they tell me to do. Even when it comes to buying things, I'll walk into a store and go, "Oh, I really like this. Should I buy this? No. Okay. I turn around and walk away.
Okay.
I do everything they tell me to do.
Wow, wow. I love it. And probably because of that, that's how this, you're exercising that muscle, that
Yes.
intuitive muscle. So it's probably super strong for you. Beautiful.
Super duper. Yeah.
Super duper. And I love how you mentioned about soulmates because there's that is also that misconception where they think it's
Oh,
that romantic partner. I mean,
yes.
I have like my friends Sandy and Kelly, I feel like they're my soul sisters, and like even animals, I have felt a connection like you're my
Uh,
soul animal, right?
More on the side of the person, more on the side of Telly.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Very
Yes.
good. All right.
As
Wonderful.
soon as you were saying the names, I got touch yes and no. So more on, yes for Sandy, but more on, Telly.
Oh, okay. Well, thank
Yeah.
you.
Welcome.
So, you're helping others, you're helping guide them. Your
Yes.
archangels are certainly there helping you as well. But what has
Yes.
been the biggest challenge or struggle you faced on your healing journey?
Um, Learning to listen, trust, and follow through because we've been taught everything in our lives. Basically, you wake up in a baby body, you're going, well, your mom and dad's going, I'm your mom and dad. You're going, I don't know who the heck you are, but okay. And then they raise you and they teach you everything in the world. They teach you the ways of the world. And this is all I've ever known for my entire life. And now completely separating myself from all that and listening to what they are telling me to do as opposed to what the world wants me to do.
Right.
And so that was probably the hardest thing because I had to learn to trust myself, but I had to learn to trust them. And then within trusting, then trust myself to do what they are asking me to do. That is the hardest thing. And that's what I try to teach people as well by listening to your soul, listening
Yeah.
to that first, because all the answers that you need are truly within yourself. Now, if you're having a hard time and you need some clarity, then yes, then come to me and I will help you with that. And then they always tell me, you know what? I felt that. And every time they say that, I say, well, the reason you felt that inside of you is because that's your soul talking to you. But you need to listen to that more instead of
Right.
listening to everybody else. So, yeah, that's been the most difficult part. But I'm there now. I don't ever uh, shy away from what they tell me to do. They tell me to do it, I do it. So
Beautiful.
it's my goal to try to get everyone else to do the same thing.
All
Stop
right.
listening to the media, stop listening to the news and all the other, so-called leaders of the world and all big corporation and all that stuff. They just want you to do things because they want you to go out in the world and produce money so that they can have more money and you can not have less money. And you feel like you're getting something great out of it. You're not. You can listen in a way for things that you need and not things always that you want all the time. And it'll get you through life where you actually need to be.
All right. Beautiful. Well, the next question I normally ask, when it's time for you to get that energetic tune up, but yours is a little different because you have this wonderful divine guidance to support you. So,
Correct.
what qualities do you look for in a spiritual medium? May not be you using it, but if someone came to you and asked you what are the qualities of a really trusted spiritual medium, because we talked before about people who are maybe not authentic, that kind of
Right.
take advantage of the situation. So what are some of these qualities that we should look for? Say green flags.
Well, I'll tell you more on the things that I look for that are not going good with people.
Okay.
Like they don't talk authentically. They talk about everything is love and light and rainbows and unicorns. That's the
Mm,
people you want to stay away from.
Okay.
They're going to tell you about, oh, you have guardian angels and all that stuff. Like I said, no one has a guardian angel. If a guardian angel following you around, guarding you from everything in life, what would you learn? You wouldn't learn anything.
Mm.
They're not going to save your life. They are not magical beings that will come here and going to fix your life. It's up to you to fix your life. But when you have these people coming around telling you, oh, everything's going to be wonderful, and it says, no, watch out for those people. Go towards the people who are going to talk to you like a real person. Go towards the person who's going to be unlike the doctor who's going to give you a bunch of medical jargon. The person who's going to really, that they are talking to you plainly, and you can see they are actually invested in helping you to get where you need to be. That's where you need to look for, because a lot of these people out there, unfortunately, there's a bunch of hucksters and snake oil salesmen out there just trying to reach into your pocket. I call them the unintuitive, because they're just, or like the person who says to you, oh, I am an intuitive business strategy. Well, intuitive business strategist, what do you mean? Oh, well, I'm using my intuition. Well, I can use my intuition too. Anybody can use their intuition. The first two letters of intuition are IN, meaning within. It is in you. You can get answers from in you. You can't get answers from someone else who's going to guide you with their intuition to get your business started. What you're getting at that point is you're just getting advice. That's all. They tell you you're intuitive because they want you to think that they are getting a divine message. They are not. They
Or
are
a download. Yeah, they're getting a
right.
download. Yeah.
Right. So pay attention. Be very aware of the people who are coming to you, or you are trying to contract for your this endeavor that you're trying to take, because there's a lot of people out there, unfortunately, are just doing things within this business that are just not real. I mean, in the sense, I know people are going to be upset with this, but it's just the truth. You can burn all the sage and cedar you want, but that's not going to make a negative energy go away.
Mm.
You can
I just
burn
said
it
this
all.
to someone the other day, that they could burn all they want, but it wasn't. I said the same.
It's not gonna that is a physical item in this physical realm. That smoke is not going to transpose into a non-physical realm. They don't have bodies, okay? They don't have a physical brain. So everybody who tells you about the brain is doing all this stuff, they don't know. The soul does everything. The soul is the power behind the brain.
Yeah.
The brain just makes the little parts work. That's all. But these beings don't have a body. They don't have lungs. They don't smell. They don't breathe. So the only thing you're doing at that point is setting off your fire alarms. I mean, if this wasn't the truth, then how come all the forest fires in the world haven't made all the negative energies go away? Because they don't. The only way that you can make negative energy go away is by being a positive person, being a positive force. You can't put up a cross and make a negative energy go away. The cross is a form of punishment. They punish people by putting them on it. So there's so many misconceptions out there that people just, they don't realize what's going on, because people are bringing the the mysticism of it to them, and they got, oh, this must be wonderful, and let me, you could put all you could put all the sacred geometry tattoos all you want. You could burn all the sage and cedar you want. You could put all the crystals around and all that stuff. That stuff will help you, but that stuff is only going to maintain what you have. In order for you to remain a positive force in your life, you have to do the dirty work, because otherwise all you're doing is putting around a bunch of illusionary tools that are not going to help you at all unless you actually do the work for yourself.
Right.
That's what people have a problem with. They don't get it. But the only reason they don't get it is because we have all these fake practitioners out there selling you everything so that you can just live a wonderful life. If you put some crystals around your house, you'll be fine. No, you got to get rid of the horrible people and get out of the horrible situations and keep away from all that stuff. You have to learn to listen, trust, and follow through, and listen what your soul is trying to guide you to do, instead of being sold, because we're not here to have 6 cars and 7 houses and 10 boats. That's the world telling you need that stuff. You don't need all that stuff, but they convince you enough that you think you want it.
Right.
No.
What are your thoughts? Because you see things, I sometimes see things, of those that kind of reach out to someone and say, hey, I see a dark entity attached to you.
Well, they're always going to say that because, for one thing, spirit is everywhere. They don't ever not go away. They are everywhere. They are on a different plane of existence, but they are everywhere. You don't need to go to a prison or like an old hospital or something like that to find spirit. You can go to find them at Walmart. They are
Yeah.
everywhere. But this is when someone says that, oh, well, you have a dark energy around you. I have a gazillion dark energies around me, but that doesn't mean they have to affect me.
Mhm.
I don't have to let them affect me. I can always tell them to just, go away because I'm
Mhm.
a good person. But when you do feel that around you, if you feel that heaviness around you, think about good things. Start thinking about kitty cats and puppy dogs and ice cream. They don't want to be around positive energy. They want to be
Right.
around negativity so they can drain that off you because they're like energy vampires. But when someone just walk up to you and say, "Oh, you have a dark energy around you," ask them what they look like. Don't end it there. Just go, "Oh, I do? Oh my god, what am I gonna do? Oh, well, here, give me $500 and I can take it away
Yeah.
from you." No
Yeah.
one can take a negative energy. Like, I tell people, you can't clear a home. They are in a realm, but they wanna be there, they will. So the only way that
Mhm.
you can clear that home is by putting positivity out there.
Yeah.
If you're if you are a horrible person and you're arguing with everybody and you're causing all this drama, you're Mr. I got to gossip about everything. Why do you think they're at your home? So because they are attracted to that. So you may have a negative energy around you, but the other reason is because is you are a negative person and you just don't want to cough up to the fact that you actually are because you got to believe that, oh, this energy is coming at me. No, you have around you, there are many of other really good spirit around you as well. But, like people say, oh, I want to get a hold of my mom and dad. Well, mom and dad is not always around you. That's just not
Mhm.
the way that works. They want to be around you when you're being positive. If you're
Yeah.
walking around, woe is me, woe is, and humdrum and Eeyore all day long, they don't want to be around that. So if
Mhm.
you think they do, again, television and movies is going to tell you all this stuff.
Yeah.
That's just not the way it is. You have to be a positive person in order, because where they are, mom and dad, if they have crossed over, because that's not
Yeah.
always the case, but if they crossed over, they are in a positive place. It's all about love and joy. They don't want to
Mhm.
be around negative people,
Yeah.
around people who are being egotistical all day long, trying to get 6 cars and 7 houses and 10
Yeah.
boats. They don't want
Yeah.
to be around that. So yeah, but there's always going to be negative energies around, but it's how you interact. You don't have to interact with them, and they
Mhm.
are definitely not going to interact with you if you are not being if you're not being positive. If you're being negative, they're going to be around you.
Yeah.
So turn your life around, change your life around, be the best version of you that you can be without having to deal with all this other crap that's going on in the world. And when you do that, these negative energies aren't going to be around you. So, but I'd absolutely when that person says to you, "Oh, you have a dark energy around you," well, I'd start questioning them everything about that.
Mhm.
I wouldn't just take it with a grain of salt and go, "Oh, okay," or like, "Oh no, what's going on?" Because when they start talking, "Oh, let me give you $500 and you can take it away from me."
Yeah.
Walk away because they are lying to you.
Mhm. Very good, very good. That makes sense as I'm looking at the patterns, like, I'm thinking of times that, like, my father crossed over and my sister that, like, sometimes I'll have people come on the podcast and they'll be like, "Oh, I see your sister and dad." So this is like, like, they would have loved it in life. They would have been like, "Oh, yeah, she's on the podcast," right?
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
they're part of it, and then when we've had graduations or fun things, but then if it's something like maybe at the doctor's office waiting for results or something, and I'm praying,
Right,
"Where are you?"
right. Yeah, I try to tell, yeah, right. Well, where are you guys at? Stuff like
"Where'd
that.
you
Well,
go?"
yeah. Well, so the thing about that is I always try to tell people there's no good news or bad news. It's just news. It just depends upon what you do
Yeah.
after it. Because in all actuality, I don't care if you fall off the top of a building, get hit by a car, get hit by a bus, even get COVID, or even with suicide. It's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of when. Everybody
Mhm.
dies. You
Yeah.
just do. It's just when it's your time to go, it just is. It's
Yeah.
going to happen, but
Yeah.
so what you do is, when is life life is not meant to be easy. If it was meant to be easy, what would be the point of living? If you were given everything in your lifetime, you wouldn't
Mhm.
appreciate the things you do have. So life is going to be challenging. He wanted it to be challenging for us. When I say he, I mean God or the universe or the source. He wanted it to be challenging so that you would learn because that's why you're here. You're here to learn
Mhm.
lessons. and fulfill a purpose. But fulfilling a purpose is not becoming a doctor or a lawyer or a teacher. You can fulfill your purpose while doing that, but you'll fulfill your purpose by being one thing, human. And our
Right.
purpose is we're here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not because you can, but because you should. And I mean sake. I don't mean, oh, I got to get paid $50,000 to do that, or I got to stand in front of a camera and watch everybody show, oh, look how wonderful I am helping people. No, that's ego. No,
Yeah.
when you're doing it out of the reason of just because, that is what gets you home and has you home and stay home. Because most people come back here many, many, many times over and over and over. The average is between 26 and 29 times. But that's not just that. I've done a reading for a lady who'd been here 43 times. So
Mm.
when I get answers, I mean, she even asked me, do I have time to fulfill my purpose? I said, no. I said, you have run out of time. Now, if I told you you ran out of time, what would that mean to you?
Right. I'd probably go in warrior mode.
That
Yeah.
was my nice way of telling her she was going to die soon. She did
Yeah.
6 months later. Yeah.
Yeah. That's what it would mean to
So
me. I thought the clock's ticking. Yeah.
yeah,
And get all
it was
where I
ticking,
need to
but,
go. Right.
yeah, she'd been here 43 times. She had to come back a 44th time. So,
Oh,
yeah,
goodness.
so because she doesn't listen, trust, and follow through, she wants
Yeah.
everything that she wants because that's what she wants. But no, that's not what the world is about. The world is about we are here to take care of ourselves, but our journey here, our path here is to take care of everybody.
Right.
We're here to help each other just for the sake of helping. But people just get that mixed up with, oh, well, I'm going to be a doctor. That's my purpose. No. While being a doctor, being wonderful and nice to other people and trying to take care of them just because you want to take care of them, that is your purpose. And when you do it enough, because we don't do it enough throughout our lives, but hopefully you'll get your ticket punched enough this time and you'll go home and stay home with your golden ticket like from Willy Wonka's. But that's what we're here to do. But if you think it's just about being a doctor so you can go out and get a BMW, I guarantee you, you're coming back again. I don't make the rules. I just explain.
Right. Sure. Sure. Well, what advice would you give someone who's just entering this profession?
Take your time with it. I really take your time with it. Really learn your ability and what you have and what you're able to do. And then not just learn it in one way, learn it in other fashions as well.
Mm.
Know as much as you can about all the different what people call modalities. I don't use the big words and stuff like that. I'm very, very plain and simple. I just, I'm not into the whole gurus and masters and all that crap.
Sure.
Even spirit, they don't call themselves ascended masters. That's a bunch of baloney. They're just spirit. That's all. But learn your trade and then learn the others all around it too. Again, so in case you do come across those people who are the unintuitive, you know which ones you can send people to and which ones you shouldn't send to. Like don't send the person to the sound bowls are great, but sound bowls can only work for you if you have cleared your life out already.
Sure.
You can't just go stand in a sound bowl and they go bong, and then you go, oh, my vibrations are raised. Now everything's going to be wonderful. No. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm doing a show called Realistically Raising Your Vibrations. Your vibration, your soul's vibration is as high as it's ever going to get. It's
Sure.
you as the human that are trying to raise, and you can only do that so much because the human body and the brain itself is a huge block. So
Mhm.
so as long as you go out there and you're clearing your life out of all the negative people, negative situation, all the negativity in your life, that's what's going to raise your vibrations up. So know this, that so that you have enough information to guide people in every way. Because again, a lot of us, we have similar abilities, but we don't all get answers the same way. So
Right.
I want to know how everyone else around me also gets their answers as well. So I know, okay, someone who wants to directly talk to their mom and dad, well, I'm not the guy who does that. Now, if your mom and dad come through, I will do that for you.
Yeah.
But I'm here to give you peace of mind and clarity, but I'm here to give them direction in their lives so they can
Mm.
get their lives straightened out so they can go home and stay home. That's what I'm here to do. But if they're wanting something specific, I want to know who it is that I can send them to, so I'm not sending them to some circus act. So because
Mm.
I don't want that for them. So
Yeah.
learn your trade, but learn the others around you. But like in that aspect, don't step out of your lane. I'm not
Mm.
going to tell someone I do a certain thing just to get a
Sure.
customer in. I don't do that. I want to help them, and helping them is getting them to the right person. So be very conscientious of what your abilities are, what you are able to do. And then again, if you cannot do it, figure out what everyone else in the room is doing so you know who you can send to.
Beautiful. Well, what books do you recommend?
That would be a hard thing for me to say. For the simple fact is I don't read books.
All right.
I've read 3 books in my life, and my book is one of them.
All right.
My wife is a reader.
Yeah.
When she says, "Oh, I'm going to read this book today," I look at her and go, books, no," because I get all my information from Archangel, so everything that I get, I don't follow other mediums. I couldn't tell you a specific one out in the world, out in the YouTube world to go follow because I don't. The reason I don't follow them is, one, I don't want what they do to influence what I do. And 2, if I need to get an answer, why would I get it from somebody else when I can get it from an archangel, which is the right hand of
Fair
God?
enough. Fair enough.
Right. So, but but with the only book that I would actually recommend out there is mine. So,
it's interesting when you said about listening to your intuition. My intuition was not to ask you this question.
because I mean, in my book, in my book, it talks about me and my story and all that stuff. But it's chapter 12 is what I want them to get to, because chapter 12 has channeled messages from archangels. I mean, and it helps. It's me giving them messages that are essentially coming from God to help them to become the best version of themselves, while in turn helping other people to do that, while in turn is now helping them at the same time to implement it in their lives, so they can figure this out here, so they can go home and not have to come back here and do this again. Yeah.
Right. Well, where can someone find you if they want to connect? And do you do like events? Do you do classes, privates, online, in person?
I do events. I'm about to start doing classes in a sense. If they want to find me, they can find me at spiritmediumdaniel.com. They can go on Instagram. I'm spirit.medium.daniel. They can go on Facebook. I have a group on there called the Spirit Medium Daniel Group, where I'm very vocal in there. So if people come in, I just let them ask questions and I just answer for them, and I don't charge them anything because I just do it for the reason just because. But I also have a podcast called Beyond the Veil with Daniel Jackson. Me. That's how I started. I'm kind of confused. And I don't know why I say it. It just came out that way. And that's on a new spiritual streaming network called newrealitytv.com, where Awaken to Your New Reality. And we are going to start doing summits on there. And some of the classes I'll be teaching on there are how to listen, trust, and follow through. Why are we here, and what is our purpose? Those types of things. So that'll be happening soon. That is a subscription network, but I know the prices are very reasonable. I think they have like 3 different tiers, and the highest tier is like $11. So it's not too bad. But yeah, they can go on newrealitytv.com and find my show on there. And there's other practitioners on there as well doing all kinds of shows. There's cooking shows. There's a woman who does like an intuitive painting class, and
nice.
all kinds of stuff on there. But yeah, I mean, but if you go on, if you're looking to get a reading or something like that, then you go on spiritmediumdaniel.com. Or you can also go on there and you can find a link for my book. It's on, you just clicks on it and takes you to Amazon. And then we also have a Printify, if you want to get some of the show merchandise on there. Like if you want to get one of the shirts that has a picture of our background, looks like a boardwalk, misty boardwalk at nighttime. And I'm sitting on the boardwalk and there's a little bubble coming out of my mouth and it says, "Be good and don't do any stupid shit." Or it says, or it has my, I'm not an extra large, I'm a medium.
There we go. That's cute.
Right. So yeah, and there's all kinds of stuff on there, coffee mugs and all that stuff, the typical stuff. But yeah, I mean, primarily, if you're going to find me and you want to have a conversation with me, even if you're one of these people who believes they actually have an ability and are not sure what to do with her, you can book a reading with me there too. And the readings are, it's $150, but it's for 2 hours. Even if it goes up to 2.5 hours, I'm not going to charge you anymore. I just want to make sure you get all the correct
Sure.
information. But if you're unsure about this ability, I will help to guide you through that so you know where to go and what to do with it next, so you can be on the path, on the correct path, the way it's going to work for you. And so hopefully you won't develop all these bad habits that a lot of people do. But
Very good. Very good.
yeah, I'm very accessible. You could just Google me. Just Google Spirit Medium Daniel or
Yeah,
Spirit Medium Daniel Jackson, which is my last name, and
sure.
you'll find me everywhere. I mean, I've been on just in the past 3 years, 3.5 years. I've been on like 275 other podcast shows. So
Wow.
yeah,
Beautiful.
I get
Beautiful.
out there. I'm
I love
pretty
it.
bad. Yeah, I'm pretty
Good, good.
horrible. But
All right.
I'm trying to get this message out there to
Of
get people to listen to
course.
us and follow through. So yeah, that's what I'm trying to
Of
do.
course. Well, that ends the first part of our journey, and I'm going to continue to guide you on to the next part, which is questions from social media and from
Oh
listeners.
boy.
So here we go. Are you ready?
Okay.
So it's a quick
Is this
lightning
like
round.
is this like a rapid fire type thing? A lightning
Rapid
round.
fire. Here we go.
Yeah,
Number
okay.
one, tell us
Cool.
about your book, The New
Uh,
Beginnings.
the new beginning is not actually about me. I didn't even title the book. I didn't even know I was actually going to write a book. I had no intention of writing a book.
Right.
But I was in meditation one time, and I saw they show me a lot of times they show me things in cartoon form or just
Mm,
running like in real time things. But they were showing this like cartoon of this man standing there at a table with these like scrolls, and he had like a robe on, but he looked like me, and he's
yeah.
writing on paper and stuff. And I was like, wow, is he writing something? And I got touchy ass, and I was like, what's he writing? And he said, and I heard a book, and I was like,
Wow.
why would you show me that? And they said,
Yeah.
we want you to write a book. I heard that in my mind, and I was like,
Mhm.
you want me to write a book? What? And they said, yeah. What's it going to be about? You, and then we're going to bring you messages we want you to put in there. And I was like,
Mhm.
oh, okay. So I mean, because the new beginning is not about me; it's about everyone else. Because
Mhm.
eventually, this place is going to come to an end, and when it does,
Yeah.
we will be starting on a new world, and what we would call new Earth, and that will be the new beginning.
Right.
Yeah, and I think it's like 139 pages, my book.
Mhm.
Um, and it's 12 chapters, and chapter 12 is, like I said, is channeled messages from archangels to help us
Mhm.
to become better people and help other people to do the same. So, yeah, I mean, it's my story chronologically from when I was a child all the way up until the point when I was about 51, about that point. I'm writing another book now called I Am the Light.
Mm.
That is more about like what it's like to be me every single
Sure.
day because people want to know that stuff.
Yeah.
But the other part of the other story is it's just there's a lot of things in the book that happened to me and
Mhm.
for me, but there's also like some of my favorite readings I've had that were like
Yes.
crazy wow moments things for people.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's on Amazon. It's got a 5-star rating. If you are going to purchase the book, please put um, a rating in there to let me know how you like the book, and let lets Amazon know how much you like the book, and then when you
Beautiful.
do that, when you do that, it puts it more
Oh,
out in the
yeah.
public. Yeah, so absolutely, but it's a good book. Everyone seems to like the book, and as long as they feel they are getting something out of it, that's all it's matters. Because the basis of my book is if you're having things that are going on with me, if you're having
Mm.
those types of things, or even if you're not, if you're just having something going on in your life that you can't quite figure out, go out and find your people. There's
Right.
somebody else out there who has something that's similar to what you're going
Sure.
through or has been through it. There's 7.5 billion of us out there. Someone else has had the same experience. So go out and find your people because no one is ever alone in this world. Beyond having spiritual guides with us all the time, you're never alone. You just have to get the gumption to get up and go find those people. So go out and do that.
Beautiful. Number two, why do you believe we feel so powerless in today's world?
Because the world teaches you to not have any trust and faith within yourself to do
Mm,
anything. They don't want you to have any trust and faith within you because they want you to believe that they're going to cure you with everything. They're going to take care of you. But ask yourself, when have they really ever done that? They don't.
mm,
I mean,
yeah,
if that were the truth, why are we still paying for everything?
right.
Right? They are out. So I mean, I know as a type of practitioner, I am the type of practitioner you are. We are the type yeah, we have to charge you for I'm not charging you for the reading, I'm charging you for the time for giving
Yeah.
me the reading.
Yeah.
But every time I do a reading with someone, I go the extra mile. I give them everything that they can and more
Right.
because I know this is what they need in their life. This is why they came to me for answers because they
Yeah.
needed these answers. And I'm going to get these answers because as tell everybody, people come to me because they want an answer from God and I get the answer. But
Mm,
the unfortunate part is not everybody wants the answer. Why? Because
sure.
not everybody likes the truth. That's why. So
Yeah.
the truth is sometimes hard to deal with. But the reason it's hard to deal with is because you've been taught not to deal with it. Because you've been taught to be padded your entire life, and it's not going to work that way. You have to learn to listen, trust, and follow through with everything you're being told, and then make your assessment at that point. But people have been told to, you know, you're going to go out and have 6 cars and 7 houses, but you got to work 80 hours a week. And then, well, if I'm working 80 hours a week, how am I going to have all that stuff? You're
Yeah.
not. Right. Because
Right.
those things aren't important because the true value in this world, those things, gold. I mean, we base our whole entire value system on gold, on gold and diamonds and stuff like,
Mm,
or what I like to say, rocks and paper, because that's all they are. They're just
yeah.
rocks and paper, and the only value they actually have is when they are in your hands. So what does that
Yeah.
mean? The true value in this world is us. That's what you need to pay attention to, and then once you figure that out, then your wants and needs are going to change.
Beautiful. Number 3, what is a consistent message that you receive from spirits and the angels?
Uh, that same message of listening, trusting, and following through.
Mm,
They will guide you in this life. They will give you the answers that you need, but you gotta listen to what they say. You gotta trust what they're saying. You gotta follow through with what they're saying because people want answers from this higher place. Every time you wake up in the morning and you say to yourself, I need to go to the mall today. Where do you think that's coming from?
mm,
It is coming from them trying to they're connecting with your spirit guides, which is connecting with your soul, which your soul is trying to connect with you to do these things because they want you to go out and have these experiences with people. They want you to meet and see and do things in this world that you're meant to do. But every
right.
time you talk yourself out of it, every single time you talk yourself out of it, this is what you're doing. You're basically telling God, I ain't got time for you today, God. And why would you do that?
Right.
So every time that they are giving you these things to do, don't talk yourself out of it.
Mm,
Don't think you have don't know that you can have trust and faith within yourself to do anything you want to do in this world. Why? Because you just can. You just have to believe in yourself because you are good enough to do everything and anything you want to do. But you can try. That's all you have to do. If it's
right.
not working out for you, because there's no right and wrong, there's no other failures, there's no mistakes in this world. There's only what works for you and what doesn't work for you. And if it doesn't work for you, quit doing it. It's that simple. Then move on to something else. But don't, that first you don't succeed, try again stuff is a bunch of bull crap because they
Mhm.
want you to keep trying and try because they want you to feel that you're a failure. You are not a failure. You don't do anything wrong. I mean, we are all created from God, from a part of Him, makes our soul a divine soul. Everyone's a divine soul, not just Jesus Christ. We're all divine souls. So we can all do whatever we want to do without letting everyone else tell us what we can't do. You can fit in anywhere that you want to. There's no rule book that says you can't fit in somewhere. You just have to decide if you want to fit in or not. But go out there and be the best version of you that you can be. And then while at the same time, help as many people as you can. You see somebody walking through a doorway, they always look at you like this. They're bobbing and weaving. Why are they doing that? Because they're spending more energy trying to avoid you. When they do that, don't let them do that. Walk in front of them. Just say one word, hello. When you say that, they're going to go,
Yeah.
oh, hello, how are you? I'm good. How are you? I'm doing great. I hope you have a great day. You too. You
Mm,
may have changed somebody's life at that point. You don't
sure.
know. They might have been going in a bad place. But the biggest thing is what they don't want you to do, or stop judging each other. When you
Mm,
see that person and they have a shirt on that you don't like because you don't like that color or you don't like their sneakers, and you think to yourself, here's what I want you to do, what they want you to do. Take a self inventory of yourself. Think of all the crap that you've been through your entire life,
mm,
everything that you've been through, and then think and look at them and go, well, maybe they're going through something too. You know
mm,
why? Because everyone is going through something. And then you know what you do? You bite your tongue and walk away because you have absolutely no right to do anything or say anything about anyone else. You are here to take care of you and hopefully take care of other people. But the beyond they have clothes on or not, they're still just people.
Mm-hmm.
And people need help sometimes. So do the best thing you can to help them. Say hello to them. Ask them how they are doing. Check in with everybody, not just your friends or your family. Check in with everybody and see how they're doing. Maybe there is something you can do for that person at that moment. It might be the smallest thing in the world, but the biggest thing, because you don't see it as being big, but it is, because it just changed their lives. Check in with everybody.
Beautiful. Well, thank you for that. Well, that was our last question. And as we've been talking, is there something that you forgot or some type of message you want to give to the listeners? The floor is yours.
Go out and be the best version of you. I want you to take care of as many people as you can. Do things for them that they can absolutely not do for themselves. Again, that's what your purpose is. We're here to help each other just for the sake of helping, not because you can, but because you should, in a way where it's going to be something physical they cannot absolutely do for themselves, or you're helping them to figure it out. If you see a dog in the middle of the street, you go down, you go, oh, let me help that dog. Let me get it out of the way. Let me go find a soda. That's helping. Or I was at the bank a couple of weeks ago, and I was walking out of the door. I saw a man coming across the parking lot, and I yelled across, me being me, I said, hey, are you coming in here, buddy? He said, yeah, but it's going to be a bit. And I said, okay. So I sat there and waited for him to come in, because he was walking across with a walker.
Yeah.
And that bank door is heavy. I didn't want that for him. So I stood there and said, okay, hold on. Because I knew if he had to go in that door, he's going to have to try to prop it open and try to walk
Yeah.
through. So I said, here, so just go on in. He said, oh, thank you. I said, but hold on, let me get the other door. But the people inside the bank opened the other door. And I was like, look at that. They opened the door for you. Great. And then I said to him, do you want me to wait? For what? I was like, well, you got to come back through. It's going to be tough. And he's like, no, someone will get it for me. I said, okay. That's what I want people to do. I want people to, and an act of kindness is so easy to do, but you have to learn to listen, trust, and follow through in order to be where you're meant to be. So those types of things will happen. And when those occurrences come up, just do them. Just help people. That's all.
Well, thank you so much, Daniel, for joining me on this journey. I really, really appreciate taking the time out of your busy schedule, and excited to be 273.
Yeah, man. Oh, yeah. It's going to be 65 today over here in,
All right, beautiful.
in
All right.
southern Arizona, but yeah.
All right, my wonderful listeners, if you'd like your question featured on the podcast, reach out, www.readysetreiki.com. I'm Tracy Seawright, and this has been Ready, Set, Reiki.